Lovely stuff. All right, guys. Today I'm joined by Toby Gilby, a good friend of mine and a client as well. And today we're just going to jump into a little bit about what we've been able to do for his brand on the Google side of things, because it's been a pretty fun journey. But yeah, Toby, do you want to jump in and kind of introduce yourself to the people and kind of what you guys do?
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, yeah. As you said, I'm Toby. I own PonyJet, which is an equine care brand. Started it 4 years ago and been on quite an amazing journey with it. Really, to be fair, loads of downs and loads of ups and all the rest of it. But yeah, no. Started working with George probably 7 months ago now, mate. 7 months ago, 8 months
It
ago.
was November, right? I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so yeah, I was your typical brand owner that didn't have a clue about Google. Just thought it would be, you search for the brand name and that was it. But yeah, little did I know. And then we've obviously got to where we are now, which I'll let you explain. But
Yeah, for sure. So I think before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about where you guys were with the Google to start with. Yeah, what can you explain like what you were doing before you kind of joined us, and if you remember any of the numbers, I can obviously fill you in if you can't. But yeah, what was the situation like before you started working with us?
yep. So it was solely Facebook ads and organic, and also retail as well. That was kind of the only three things we are focusing on. And I had a freelancer that was just literally kind of monitoring the Google a little bit. And I think we were spending something ridiculous, like 200 quid a month or something so tiny. It just had no focus at all. Purely a brand search little campaign, whatever it was. So yeah, it was 200 quid a month spend. Um, at like whatever ROAS, 2-3 ROAS. So yeah, it was very low.
Yeah, I remember I followed up on this guy like 20 times. Finally got him on the call, and when I jumped into the account, I was taken aback because not to throw you under the bus or anything, but you were kind of like, yeah, it's covered, like we've got it, it's all good. And then when I jumped into the account, I was like, whoa, what is going on here?
Uh,
Yeah, I remember the numbers. It was like 200 quid spend for I think an 800 return in the month. So you basically doing about a K a month. And it was all on the branded search campaign, which is I think what a lot of brand owners. Yeah, you said it yourself. They make that mistake. They think Google's just for the brand, just for the bottom of the funnel, and then all the growth is on Facebook. When in actuality, you can really use Google for new customer growth as well.
yeah.
Because if at the end of the day, like people are always searching, in the case of Toby's niche, people are always searching for better ways to take care of their horse. And where do they go for that? They're going to go to Google. So yeah, appreciate the roundup there, man. And then let's talk a little bit about where we are now on Google. Like over the last like 6 months, where have we got you to?
Yeah, I think we've almost just touched 50K for 1 month on Google, which is brilliant. Yeah, it's super out of hand for me as well, just to focus on things that I need to be focusing on and not inside, an ads manager. It's brilliant, the team with Felix and Juan as well. Like everyone's brilliant. It's so super easy for me, and I get loads of communication from you guys. So yeah, we're at quite a good amount of a spend and a good amount of revenue and a good amount of profit from Google now. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's only up from here, man. We're approaching Q4, so very excited
exactly,
to do some big numbers.
exactly.
But yeah, so last I checked in the account, I think we're looking from the last 30 days more or less, we did 50K at 6x return on ad spend, which is super, super fun. But yeah, what we're concerned with at the agency isn't even necessarily ROAS, it's all about profit, all about new customer growth, media efficiency ratio, and actually focusing on growing brands, which I'm happy to say I think we are really, really helping you do at this point. So yeah, it's been a fun journey. And then on the strategy side, I mean, from my end, like what did we do differently? I think the core thing was very simply just going to the top of funnel. Where Toby was initially, it was, as I say, all brand, and then we came in and we implemented standard shopping, cold search. That's the basis of our strategy, and then we actually started to kind of horizontally scale per location. So the UK, the US, Australia, and has allowed us to scale to the point where we're doing I think around 10K a month in spend. So yeah, it's been a fun journey. Cool, man. And I think as well, just I think it would be really interesting, not necessarily just on the Google ad side, but to talk a little bit about what you guys did with the AOV, because that also massively helped the growth of the brand, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a pretty, yeah, it was probably the biggest part. Before we were very much a I actually do recommend this strategy to anyone who's actually starting a brand. Is obviously just stick to one product and nail that into one market. You see it all the time with big brands. For example, like Kanzuri, you might have seen them around. They were insole 2.5 inches to your height, little insole things, and now they've developed into a massive shoe brand.
Mm.
So knowing that kind of knowledge at the start of like, right, let's stick to one product, which was a low ticket, it was 30, 40 quid, whatever it was, and just trying to nail that into the market and to, to get customers going, right, to get the customer base building and etc. and getting the brand out there. So obviously it was a natural progression of going, right, we've got one main SKU, one main product that's doing amazing, with a few upsells in there, but we wanted to really build into a kind of a brand that is the go-to of everything, right? We want to be that equine care brand. And one of the things we did was, instead of selling shampoo separately, conditioner separately, stain remover spray separately, fly spray, hoof oil, whatever it might be, all the accessories, we first developed kits, so bundles, packages. That was the first main step. We literally bring it all together, and then you can charge whatever price you want to charge. For what we do is over 100 quid. So we naturally went from having an AOV of around £30, 30, £40, to progressing into 60, 70. And then from the grooming kits, so obviously we had specialized kits for a certain situation in our customer's life. So for example, a show kit, or it was a daily kit, for example. And then obviously another situation with like a muddy horse kit. So really specializing into situations in their lives, which resonates with our customers. But then obviously we went into more products as well, and just trying to sell expensive stuff to people that have money. So yeah, that was obviously, we've got a great bestseller now, which is a high ticket. So yeah, that was kind of the natural progression of turning in from a one product kind of brand and people know about, into, right, how can we take this into building a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah. And as soon as they start to do that, we started splitting out campaigns to focus on the high ticket products. We now have dedicated campaigns pushing those kits, and that was a real switch in terms of the growth that we saw on Google. So yeah, it's not always media buying. Sometimes it's also more holistic things that, looking at AOV, looking at bundling your products and the upsells in, as well as just single SKUs, and then
Yeah.
when you do that and you get something working, then really pushing that on the media buying and launching specific campaigns to try and sell as much of that stuff as possible, because it, as you say,
Absolutely.
it's,
Absolutely, and that's
key.
made a massive result in our MER as well. Obviously, that's dropped a lot compared to where we were last year, as you'll know. Yeah, yeah. That's 100%. Anyone listening wanting to do that kind of thing and take their AOV or their brand from one situation, that is something for sure you should look at. But also, it's not always, AOV is not always the answer. Like you look at brands like Essence Vault, for example. Their whole thing is, we are the more affordable, more go-to brand compared to luxury fragrance, and they're absolutely crushing it. So it's not always the answer, but it obviously does help, and especially with CPA costs always rising, Facebook's always going to get more expensive. If you can sell more expensive stuff with a great gross margin, that's always going to help. Like having your fundamental unit economics is always the go-to first before you think about obviously
Yeah.
advertising. But yeah, for sure.
Cool, man. Awesome. And then let's just round things off with a kind of a final question. What would you say to maybe any brands watching this that are kind of on the fence? We're in a similar position to you with a freelancer, or they're doing it themselves, or they're working with another agency that they're not happy with. What would you say to them if they're potentially thinking about working with us?
Hurry up and get on paid searches client list for sure. No, serious crack. Just give it a test. I remember one of the best pieces of advice I got in the last 6 months was, I said to him, like, should I do this? Should I do that? And this guy who obviously he was doing whatever he was doing, he said, I don't know, test it. Test it. And I was like, all right, okay, fair enough. So just got to go. You've got to try things. You've got to find. You get the answer quicker, right? You've got to find out the solution to your problem. Just 100%. Go for it. It's not. It's a lot more to Google than you think, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
But yeah, 100%.
Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on. And yeah, any brand owners watching this who are interested in scaling their Google up, or just hopping on a call and having a chat about what's possible, got a link down below. Book a one-on-one call with me. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on, Toby, and speak soon, guys.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.